Hello. Welcome to OLLI Life Live, a news broadcast for OLLI members and friends. I'm Sue Renault, editor. My co-host is longtime newsletter contributor Judy Ayton, and today we invite you to watch your news instead of read it. The same experienced OLLI Life reporters who have been writing their stories for the past few years are ready to talk. Like Marie. Like Marie.
Hello. Hello, my name is Marie Aldridge, and I'm going to tell you about a special way that OLLI loves Furman. I'd like you to meet Ted and Carol Sinakowski and Libby Knoll. These three are not related biologically, but they are related through the Grand Friend program at Furman University. Ted and Carol moved to Greenville about a year ago. They knew they wanted to get involved in the community and at Furman. They heard about the Grand Friend program at the Woodlands at Furman where they live now. They are both former teachers, and they have not had a college acquaintance in their life for a while, so they thought this program sounded like a great match. Libby was a freshman at Furman, majoring in politics and vocal performance. She's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so she knew that during the academic year she wouldn't be getting home very often. She wanted to make some adult acquaintances here and expand her social circle outside of her friends on campus. She heard about the Grand Friend program at a student activity fair on campus. So, how's it working? Well, according to Ted, Carol, and Libby, it was easy for them to get acquainted. Sharing a love of opera, they were able to enjoy a Metropolitan Opera live performance of Madame Butterfly on the big screen at the Hollywood Regal Cinema. They also met at musical performances and other events on the Furman campus. They planned dinners at the Sinakowski's home and at local restaurants. They said they had far-reaching conversations and they texted frequently. Now, a year later, what do they have to say about the Grand Friend program? The Sinakowski, she just jumped right in. We've learned so much about Furman, and it's been great having a college student in our life. As for Libby, she says, it's been great. I feel like I have a family away from home. So, have I piqued your interest? Would you like to learn more? The Grand Friend program is one of 70 that the Heller Service Program offers to Furman students. Coordinator Nancy Cooper told me that for now, due to the pandemic, the program is on hold. But stay tuned. I plan to bring you an update in a future issue of OLLI Life. So, bye for now. And remember,
Now I'd like to introduce a new member of the OLLI Life team, David Johnson. David is OLLI's new president. We're looking forward to both his leadership and his sense of humor. David has a well-developed funny bone. Welcome, David.
Greetings, OLLI friends. I'm David Johnson, the first ever virtual president of OLLI. I'd like to thank Sue and Judy and all the people who put this broadcast together. This has been a challenging year for OLLI, but our members will always rise to the occasion. One of our members, genealogy SIG leader Sarah Rose, wrote that she and her husband Joe mow and weed at the monastery of Poor Clare in Travelers Rest. They serve the nuns and the community and also get to enjoy sunshine and birdsong. This made me think of my own yard work. I planted a new chicken-proof lawn. That's right, chicken-proof. It's impeccable. Impeccable.
Impeccable.
Yes.
Thanks, David. And now, I'm going to get one of those lawns. And now, Judy, who else do we have reporting today?
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce James Hammond. Jim is a Greenville old-timer, a global journalist, and an OLLI Life original. Today, he's taking on a topic that's been in the news and on his mind: the importance of science in shaping our path forward along the coronavirus trail. It's all yours, Jim.
Thank you, Judy. Many of us have been here before. In the 1955-56 school year, when I was in 4th grade at Mountain View School in northern Greenville County, my classmates and I lined up in the hallway outside our classroom. Each child received an injection of the new vaccine developed by Dr. Jonas Salk to protect us from the polio virus that was ravaging the nation. In the early 1960s, we received the Sabin oral vaccine that was judged by science to be more effective in preventing transmission of polio. If you were born in the 1940s, you knew people who survived polio but were disabled for life by the virus that was transmitted through contaminated water and food. Some of those people still live today, but there are fewer and fewer because science has found a way to block the virus. There has not been an outbreak that originated in this country since 1979. A few isolated cases of transmission by carriers from other countries have been quickly identified and contained. But science is under attack today by people who put their own personal interest ahead of the welfare of the public at large. We know from our experience with polio and other diseases that if science is allowed to flourish, it generally will mitigate the threats from the natural world. The magic bullet, such as the polio vaccine, is not always readily apparent. A generation after the discovery of HIV/AIDS, we still do not have a vaccine. But science has given us treatments that make this once fatal virus survivable. My parents were fearful of taking us to public swimming lakes because of the spread of polio. Public health officials imposed quarantines on homes and towns where polio cases were diagnosed. But my children, now adults, and the next generation of children hardly know what polio is, apart from the knowledge that at some point in their young lives, they received a vaccination to protect them from these ravages. Science is not always right the first time in its response to a new threat, but I believe the value of science is that those who practice it learn from their experience. Science has come a long way since the search for a polio vaccine. We must avoid magical thinking about vanishing diseases and let science prevail now.
Well, thank you, Jim. You just made a great case for science. It would not be an OLLI Life program without an appearance by our esteemed director, Nancy Kennedy. So Nancy, we've had a lot of dramatic changes since the coronavirus started. What would you like to tell us, please, about how things are going to stay the same and change for us in the classes between now and next year?
Thanks, Judy. You know, a lot is staying the same here at OLLI. We still have great members. We have instructors providing interesting classes. We have volunteers helping do the OLLI Life and so many other things. But what's new, we're all on Zoom this year. So our members and our instructors and our staff have had to learn a lot of new tech skills to make this happen. The OLLI staff learned a lot of new skills last spring and summer and how to work from home and how to coordinate with each other from different places. We're back in the office now, while occasionally working from home is needed. But even though the staff is back, the Herring Center and the rest of Furman are still closed to visitors. As much as we'd love to see everybody, we still have to ask you not to drop by the office for a visit yet, but we are so looking forward to the day we can welcome you all back, and we will be sure to let you know when that can happen. To get ready for our classes, we've been conducting test classes for all of our Zoom classes this week, and they've gone really well. So we're looking forward to the official start of classes next week. Again, this will be 100% Zoom term, so something very new for OLLI. But you'll see a lot of your old favorites. We have courses, we have our Friday bonus events, we have our special interest groups. Many of them are meeting virtually. We have our 2 book groups that are continuing right on through the pandemic. So much of what is familiar to you is still going on here at OLLI. We do have a new Friday afternoon program beginning October 9th called Upstate Cocktails with a Curator. This is pretty much stolen from a program that the Frick Museum has been doing on YouTube on Friday afternoons. And we're going to have our own special version here. This was put together by Furman's Special Collections librarian, Jeff McCullough. It will start October 9th and run for 5 or 6 weeks on Friday afternoons. You can see page 19 in your OLLI brochure to learn more, and there will be lots of details in the OLLI notes. So that is a new thing that we have this fall that probably was brought to us by the pandemic. So it's great that we have a lot of creativity helping feed our program during this time. So much more going on. And I look forward to seeing all of you on Zoom. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you, Nancy. We appreciate your efforts on our behalf. Now, another one of our regulars is Kathleen Allen. She keeps us abreast of what's going on with the art and photo people. So she would like to show you some great photos from the Spring A to Z Challenge. It's all yours, Kathleen.
Thanks, Judy. I'm here on location in the Texas Hill Country. It's a beautiful place to take photography, especially landscape photography. Challenge is the name of the game for OLLI photographers during our pandemic, so this is how it works. Participants are sent on a daily errand to find the best shots to address one of these challenges. On our Zoom screen, you can see a slideshow prepared by Steven Singer representing photos taken during the OLLI Alphabet Challenge. Now there have been over 12 challenges. That figure includes 125 days of active shooting, more than 2,000 images submitted by the merry band of OLLI photographers. This entire effort has been directed by Greg Peters. Over 30 OLLI members now participate in these challenges. In addition to the Alphabet Challenge, there have been a black and white challenge, a tree challenge, household items, perspective, color challenge, motion, abstract, and metals. Each challenge runs approximately 1 week, and you can see Greg has really had to be on his toes to keep us in challenges. Not only have the photographers produced wonderful photographs, they've advanced their skills, sharpened their eyes for finding great shots, discovered new filters and equipment that they want to purchase. Yes, that's right, pandemic shutdown is not cheap, and deepen their friendships. Even as they gathered remotely, they never lost their sense of fun, adventure, and togetherness, with a little competitiveness thrown in on the side. I would like to close with a poem written by Elaine Singer for our first OLLI Challenge. Once upon a time, there was a group of photographers who accepted an alphabet challenge to match a letter with an image. Each journeyer planned their daily trek with camera in hand and tripod at the ready. For weeks, they scoured cabin and countryside, seeking the sequential shots of their challenge. Maintaining good spirits, the group shared appreciation for their peers' efforts, thus providing encouragement on the quest. Nearing the end of their journey, shutter fingers well exercised, the group faced the dreaded Z. With full batteries and fresh SD cards, they would not be vanquished by the Z. And lo, success was theirs. Watch OLLI Notes for opportunities to enjoy more photos from your talented classmates. And if you see any of these creative folks out and about, just say cheese.
Thanks, Kathleen. And who would have thought that you could get something besides a xylophone for the letter X? And now I have a question for you. Are you a Zoom newbie? Do you need someone to ease your Zoom jitters? Well, our next guest will help you Zoom like a pro. Meet Zelda. Ta-da!
Hello, Zooming newbies. I am Zelda Zoom, your Zoom etiquette expert. We're going to talk about what you do and don't do in a Zoom class. The first thing you must do is mute your computer or your device. If you don't, we can hear your dog, your cat, your canary, your telly, and your belches. And moving your iPad without muting it makes it sound like you're husking corn. Always mute your unit. Do not mess about with your computer. If you want to alter your virtual screen, wait until the class is over, dear hearts, because what we see is either a great huge hand or something even worse. Frankly, it's the equivalent of screaming, "I'm bored." Leave your computer alone. And chat. Chat is not meant for you to pass cute little notes to your classmates. It is intended for you to speak with your teacher. So send your questions or comments via chat. And a lot of you have probably enjoyed bounding about your abode in the altogether. You don't do that on Zoom. Please wear a shirt, a blouse, something when you come to your class. And don't eat during Zoom. You can drink anything you like, but it's bad form to eat. And last of all, but most importantly, is never Zoom and drive. It could be fatal. So you can now all be teachers' pets, and I bid you a fond Zooming farewell.
Thank you, Zelda. You've given us some terrific tips. Another OLLI Life favorite is our wine blog by Bernie and Cindy Showman. These two have been studying wine for years, and today I've asked them to talk to us about one of their favorite white wines. Bernie, what have you got for us?
Thank you, Sue. Today we want to talk about how to evaluate a wine that we're going to be tasting for the very first time. We're going to be utilizing and tasting one of our all-time favorite wines, the King Estate Pinot Gris from the Willamette Valley of Oregon. This is the top-selling Pinot Gris from Oregon. All of the grapes are grown on organic or certified sustainable vineyards. We're going to be drinking the 2018 vintage, and we paid $13.97 for this at Total Wine. So let's pour a glass.
First, we want to look at the wine in the glass. By examining the color, we will learn a lot about what to expect. This wine is a pale straw color, and so we expect it to be crisp and lively. Swirl the wine and look at the trails of wine running down the side of the glass. These are called the legs. The bigger and slower legs mean more alcohol content. This wine has average or better legs. The alcohol content as listed on the bottle is 13.5%.
Now we want to swirl the wine some more. We are trying to introduce oxygen into the wine, which will help release the aromas of the wine and actually make the wine taste better. Next, we want to get our notes down into the wine glass as far as we can and inhale. And I like to do this more than once. This wine has a very floral smell, almost like a flower garden. And we can't wait to taste this.
Bring some air into your mouth as you take a sip. Before swallowing, swish the wine all over your tongue from front to back. You want to savor it and notice how the flavor varies from the front of your mouth to the back. Notice the sweetness, acidity, and fruit flavors. This Pinot Gris has a very citrus notes in the beginning, but mellows into a ripe pear flavor at the end. And then after you swallow, also notice how long the flavor remains in your mouth.
We hope this will help you enjoy your wine.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'll drink to that. To get more of Bernie's advice, visit his wine blog, scwinejoe.blogspot.com. We have two more special reporters with us today who always know what's up on the OLLI playground. They are Betty Jo and Ann. Betty Jo, what do you have for our members today?
I've got something for OLLI travelers to look forward to. The OLLI Photography Group and the OLLI Travel Committee think you might enjoy a stroll down memory lane and an opportunity to recall some of the wonderful trips OLLI Travel has facilitated over the last 4 years before the days of 6-foot distancing and masks. Let me take you to a few of these places. First, we have a picture from the very first trip with OLLI Travel to Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a church on the campus of the University of Virginia, a truly beautiful place. Second, from the trip to Santa Fe and Taos, New Mexico, is a pueblo in Taos, truly iconic. Both of these pictures were taken and supplied by Kay Miller. Next is a picture of the OLLI members who participated in the trip to Yellowstone. Next, we have a picture of the Hotel Chateau de Valagon that our trip took over during the 2019 Paris trip. These two pictures were taken by Ted Sylvain. Last but not least, our 4 intrepid members of OLLI walking on Hadrian's Wall during the 2018 trip to Northern England, standing where Hadrian's soldiers once stood. That picture was taken by yours truly. If these photos whet your interest, we invite you to watch for a class scheduled for winter 2021, developed in collaboration between the OLLI photographers that you've already seen and OLLI travelers. It is an OLLI travel log and photo journal featuring photos from across the country and around the world. Beautiful faces and beautiful places. Watch for more information about this class in winter of 2021.
Thanks, Betty. Can't wait to see your class. Now, how about you, Ann? I understand you have a warning for our members.
That's right, Sue. We all know that walking in nature is good for the soul. And my baking hobby requires cardio. So I cleared a path through the woods on our property to stay fit. Problem is, since we were visited by an enormous bear last night as we sat down to dinner, my confidence is a bit shaken. I may walk with an air horn next time. This is Ann Doyle warning all backyard woods walkers, watch out for bears.
Thanks, Anne. It sounds like you had a bonus event in your own backyard. I hope you're enjoying your OLLI Life Live news so far. I'd like to give a shout out to our newsmakers, to Marie Eldridge, to David Johnson, to James Hammond, to Nancy on our staff director, to Bernie and Cindy. Did you bring enough wine for us, Bernie and Cindy? And to Kathleen, to Betty Jo, to Anne, and to my co-host, Judy Ayton. And I've asked Judy to give us all a heads up on a winter class that she'll be teaching. So Judy,
Well,
take
thank
it away.
you. This winter, I will be teaching at the movies again, and we'll be looking at the work of director Michael Curtiz. Probably don't know who he is, but you'll know pretty quick. He was considered the finest director in Europe when the Warner Brothers persuaded him to come to the United States in the 1920s during the silent era. He was their A-list director for over a quarter of a century. He made movies in every genre, not concentrating on only one. And his use of Technicolor in the 30s and 40s was unparalleled. It is said that his use of it in the movie Dodge City was what persuaded John Ford to start using Technicolor in his Westerns. He is also credited with helping turn that lowly genre, the Western, into one of the most popular and respected genres for a long time. His realism in his film noir movies made them absolutely compelling. He drove his producers nearly mad by making unimproved changes to his scripts, sets, and costumes that always improved things. And he made a few stars you may have heard of: Errol Flynn, James Cagney, Bette Davis, and John Garfield, to name a few. Since this will be a Zoom class, every one of the movies we will be discussing can be rented through Amazon Prime Video. Really cheap, too. And these are the films we'll be watching: Captain Blood, Dodge City, Casablanca, Yankee Doodle Dandy, The Breaking Point, Life with Father, We're No Angels, and The Proud Rebel. I hope you are going to be with me because it'll be a lot of fun.
Thanks, Judy. And also kudos to our amazing tech and recording team, Jessica and Jenna Justice. Let's give all these reporters a big hand. Yes, we've got a big hand for everybody. Now, I'd like to end with a poem by one of our classmates, Constance Irby. And Constance was one of the earliest newsletter editors back in the days when OLLI was Furman University Learning in Retirement. And I think that you'll agree that Connie has captured many of the experiences of our travels through the COVID-19. And the name of her poem is Zero Gravity. In my lockdown cocoon, plague days pass slowly with no end in sight. Snug and safe, I shelter in my cushy bed or zero gravity recliner, alone with the never-ending people crossing my smart TV screen, alone with the characters in my towering stacks of books, alone with pasta and chocolate and Beyond Beef burgers, and alone with lively text and email and chats at all hours of the day, alone with virtual hugs and kisses and thought connections. And I've lost, alone with voices of loved ones, touching hearts across the miles, and alone with music to make me move and help me sing and remind me of joy, and alone with art to soothe my eyes and warm my being, excite my brain, alone with walkway blooms, geraniums, roses, baby gardenias, alone with memories always playing in the background, alone with the future disappearing into dust. Thanks, Connie, for letting us use your terrific poem. And thank you all for tuning in to OLLI's first live newsletter broadcast. If you've enjoyed watching your news, give us some feedback. sue.renault@gmail.com. That's sue.renault@gmail.com. We love your feedback. Tell us what you think. Stay well, wear a mask, and tell your friends about OLLI Live. Thank you. Goodbye. Big hands for everybody, everyone.